Gene, we've seen the collapse of FTX, now the guilty plea from Binance. What do you think all of this means for the industry moving forward? And in particular, what do you make of the positive market reaction off the back of that guilty plea from Binance? What happened here?
Well, I think it's important to see what the U.S. Department of Justice didn't find at Binance. You know, when you look at what they're actually accusing Binance of and what CZ is going to plead guilty to, it is early on KYC AML violations. You know, unlike FTX, the money was there. There was no fraud. You know, this was a real legitimate enterprise. And I think the, outcome here recognizes that. But it underscores another very important point. You know, the point of blockchains and cryptocurrencies is to decentralize, is to not have to worry about whether CZ is doing everything right. Instead, trust and verify yourself, self-custody. I think those are the more important points that we all need to take from, both FTX and Binance. These were classic centralized exchanges that we've had for hundreds of years. The real opportunity is to go into true DeFi and decentralized exchange and not have to trust a third party to behave correctly.
Tell me what all of this means for your business as well, and in particular, how should the SEC be classifying your tokens? We've just seen this ruling with Ripple and XRP, the SEC saying that XRP is not a security. What does that mean for GIA?
Well, we did something very different. We never initially sold any of our coins. So when we launched, we did have some of the coins that the company itself owns, and that's very different than all of the other projects. We ourselves are kind of like a Red Hat open source model company where we work with folks like the World Bank to help them create the carbon markets. So, for us, it's been important to see that the most extreme views of the SEC have generally not made it through the court system in the United States. So, that every cryptocurrency is always a security has generally not been something the courts have been open to. Certainly, in certain situations, when you sell a cryptocurrency, it could be sold as a security, but that's really on a kind of per transaction basis. And so we believe that, based on the 2017 guidance around the DAO that the SEC issued, that our XCH is not a security, that it's possible that some of our sales of XCH could be securities transactions there, and there are ways for us to make those completely compliant. And that's why partially we filed our confidential IPO filing late last year. And we're excited to be able to continue to have that kind of purely compliant view. And as the IPO markets hopefully recover, we want to be ready when that occurs.
Okay, so walk me through that, because it has been a turbulent time, as we've been discussing. You've had to let a lot of people go. At the same time, you lost a key banking partner. There was some thinking that this IPO was on ice indefinitely. You're now saying you're making plans for it to go ahead. Can you give me a timeline on that?
Yeah, we were banking with Credit Suisse, and I think, everyone who was dealing with Credit Suisse at the time was not expecting what happened between UBS and Credit Suisse. So that put a delay. Now we're back on track. We have gotten back with an underwriter and are about to turn our next comments. We've always expected this process to take some time, though. This is a very novel sort of offering, and I think the SEC is looking appropriately closely to it, but has been completely business-like with this. So, we are in many ways more limited by the overall market. I think we haven't necessarily seen the kind of after performance that everyone would like to have seen from the recent IPOs. And I think there's still some macro questions, but at the same time, with inflation looking like it might be coming under control, next year looks more interesting from when the market conditions might be available.